Back in 2019, Sambuca of Sicily did an auction for their €1 homes program. This video is to show you Meredith Tabbone's house, one of the €1 home winners, and how far along she's gotten on her remodel.
In the rain. This is it.
So, Meredith is going to be a permanent resident in YouTube, on my YouTube. So get used to her.
Ciao, bonjour. Buonasera. Buonasera. Okay, what about interior? I think it's going to be 2 doors instead of 1 and a side door, but there'll be like a big area up here, but I don't like frosted glass, so it's not going to be that. Maybe like this, but natural wood for the interior. Are we going somewhere?
We're going inside now.
Okay.
Questa dell'Africa.
Come si chiama?
Irogo.
Irogo. I know one of the things that's on the mind of many is how much it costs to remodel a €1 home. We're going to cover that subject here at the end of this video, so make sure to stick around for that moment. We're going to finish shopping with Meredith, and then we're going to tour the house. Did you want this to be flat with this one?
Yeah, I just want it to be... This is too much.
Quadrato senza le...
Si può fare benissimo, non è un problema di fare quella lì.
Si può? Okay. He said that's not that hard apparently.
What? This feels like a...
With this kind of wood you can do anything you want.
Con questa base.
Probably like...
So it's been really fun. I've been translating a bit. We're at choosing windows and doors for Molly and Meredith. It's pretty much like anywhere else, but they have these artisans that make the doors and windows that are not so far off from Sambuca. The road to get here, a little bit controversial.
So we're coming in through the main entrance of the house. A lot of work here. We actually had to take out a full bathroom that was in this area, and if you look up, you can still see the old walls for the bathroom in the hallway that we took out. And if you look straight across, you can see that there's a little half bathroom right here that we just added. So we added a wall, and we're gonna put in a very small half bathroom. You can see right here, we just added 2 huge windows, and there's gonna be a fireplace in between that. And over here, you can probably still see it a little bit drawn on the wall. Yep, that's gonna be the wood burning fireplace. And then over here, we took the other front door that was to the 4th home and turned that into a window so that we could have a little bit better flow in this room with furniture. We've got a garage entrance over here. We're gonna put a door in because we ended up extending this hallway. We're turning this into a laundry room. We made a walk-in closet, which is right here. And then over here, we tripled the size of the bathroom. So if you go all the way back, you'll see the old bathroom. That had a shower, a toilet, and a sink in it. It's now gonna be just the shower. And you can see everything is wet because they're working on that today. And then to your right is going to be a double sink. So now we'll come back through and go upstairs to the 2nd floor of the home. All right, so this is the upstairs landing. And right here, there's a huge empty space. There's going to house a closet here, a utility closet, because we're putting heating in the floor. So there's gonna be radiant heating coming up through the floors. You're gonna walk into the primary upstairs bedroom. You can see there's a barrel vaulted ceiling, which is beautiful, but it made it a little complicated to add an ensuite bathroom. So they decided to do a floating wall. This is another thing that took me probably, I'm gonna say 5 months to get on board with. I didn't love the idea of it, but it's what works best. So when we put the floating wall on, the bed is gonna sit on that wall, and then behind it, there's gonna be a walk-in closet. And then if you walk through the walk-in closet, on the left, there's gonna be a counter with a sink. And then straight ahead, there's gonna be a shower that is all glass. And you'll actually enter the shower from that side right there. So you won't be able to walk through the right side of the floating wall, but you will be able to see because it's gonna be all glass. I should point out on the way to the bathroom, the beautiful balcony that's happening over here. Yep, this is a full balcony that was here. We're actually going to keep everything original. The only thing that we need to do is just restore the railings. There's a few pieces missing, which we'll use a blacksmith to repair, but everything else is original. We're just going to fix it up, clean it up, and yeah, I'll have a beautiful balcony off my bedroom. And then over here is the other half of the bathroom, which is technically, I guess we'll call a water closet. On the right, we're gonna put in a toilet, and what's on the wall next to it, there'll be what we call a bum gun. I wanted to have a bidet on the left, but I got vetoed by everyone because they said it was too tiny to have a bidet in there without hitting the wall. We're gonna go back through the upstairs landing into what will be my library / home office. And as you can see, there's some beautiful balconies. I was fortunate because all of these railings are original and they're in really good condition. There's a few missing pieces, same here as there was on the other balcony. You can see if you look at the ceiling, there's steel reinforcements up here because there's a terrace above us, so that was recently added. And the back wall here is gonna be all bookshelves, floor to ceiling, wall to wall, and in the middle of that, we're gonna have a nice big fireplace that's wood burning. And this is probably gonna be my favorite room in the house, the heart of the home, because it's got the 2 balconies and because I love to read. So I'm gonna put some extra special effort into that and hopefully take this piece, which is very weird and ugly right now, and it's the roof of the stairs, and hire an artist to come in and put a mural on the piece so that it goes from being an eyesore to something really beautiful. And then above that, add in, this actually was here before, we just expanded it, it was smaller. We expanded it so that we could add more wood shelving in for family photos and kind of documenting the experience that happened here. So now you are entering the €1 home zone. This is the original room that I walked into when I saw the house for the first time after I purchased it. So I came up the stairs over here and walked into the room and took a look.
So what you might not know is the reason we've left the €1 home for the last is because it's amazing down there, and because it has these just stone walls, we say da vista, you can see them, that they used to cover up, but nowadays it's become kind of a fashionable thing to expose the stone.
I love it. I'm really excited about it. You can't see it here, but there's actually 2 more layers of stone that they had to cover. And the really nice thing about that is it shows the history of the house because we were able to see when the additions were put on and how they were done. So over here you can see 2 rooms now, but it used to be 1 room and it was about 3 feet lower than it is right now. We took the floor line up to be equal with the living room so that we could create 2 different rooms. This is gonna be a bedroom, and the room, we put up a wall so that we could create a bathroom next door, just to make it a little bit more functional. So that is an original window, we just made it bigger, but yeah, this area is all the old kitchen. I love the windows. So we had a small window over here, and I just asked them if they could expand that, and instead they filled it in and made this, which I loved. What you can't see here is 2 doors that used to be here. This was the entrance to the original home, and we made that a window. You can't see it because it's covered up right now. And then to the right of you used to be the entrance for the animals, for the horses into the stables. And you can tell because there is a giant trough, which we are keeping. We restored it. It was in pretty bad shape, but it was restored. We had to put some steel in there, as you can see, to keep it structurally sound, but we're actually leaving that as is. You can see even still the old hooks are in there. And we're not gonna take these out. This is all just gonna stay as it is. So we kind of had to make the decision. It would have been a much more functional kitchen if we hadn't taken it out, but I just could not bring myself to do it because I loved it so much. So I think it's gonna be awesome when it's done. This is also a fun little feature of this kitchen. No idea, probably was storage, but they did finish it. It was kind of rough in there, but they cleaned it up and finished it off so that we can use it for kitchen storage. Nice. This is the outside of the staircase that we just walked down, and there are some very large steel beams that we had to put in here just to make sure that it was structurally sound. We do want to feature the stone, so there is going to be, at the very least, like lighting in the floor right here that will kind of run up the wall so that you can, you can get some of the light on the beautiful stone that's here. And so we're walking into the original part of the €1 home. It was actually about 4 or 5 different additions over 4 or 5. We put in a floating floor here, and there's going to be a door in the floor that pops up and a set of stairs. And if you go to the left, there's going to be an infrared spa down there. So it'll be a dry heat spa. Underneath the bedroom, which we turned the original piece of the house into the 4th bedroom. And as you can see here, this old stone, this is the original entrance to the house. Again, dates back to the 1600s. And this is the door frame, so this is metal. So this used to be the original window. It was just one big window. The other half of it is on this side, and it was an arched window. And they decided to, this was another thing they did without talking to me about it, which I was fine with.
What was your budget?
We'll start with where it began. So originally, when I was doing the €1 home only, before I purchased the second home, we had a budget of $40,000, and that was going to be for about 600 square feet. So it was going to be 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and that was the base budget that we started with. And then we purchased the second home, and the budget went up to about €100,000. And now we are up to about €165,000 for the entire renovation. But the goal will be to get about 65% of that back through the eco bonus and seismic bonus.
Okay. For these eco bonus and seismic bonuses, are there deadlines that you have to meet?
So right now, it just got extended to through 2023. That's the deadline for your renovation to be done by the end of 2023. Currently, I believe, as long as things continue to go well, that will probably get extended again. But right now, 2023.
Was it hard organizing and orchestrating this whole experience?
It was not hard for me. I met my architect online, actually on Instagram. He had an account. I saw that he was from the area, liked the work that he had posted, reached out to him. We met when I came to Sambuca for the first time. And I think in most cases here, from all of the foreigners that I've spoken to who purchased homes here, their architect or contractor organize everything for them. One of the things that you do have to learn is that you're not going to go to 10 different stores like you go to in the US and just pick out one item here and one item there and, have a quick conversation about it and leave. Here it's very high relationship based. So, the people that you're working with are going to go to the stores and the vendors that they're friends with and that they work with all the time. So there may be 3 places in town where you can get tile, but you're probably going to use the one where, your people have the best relationship. So it's a little bit different than in the States.
From my experience too, if you do just kind of put some of that trust in the hands of the architects and geometry that are in charge of the project, it's a lot easier to go through a project, because once there's like resistance and it seems like you don't trust them as much, then there's a little bit less joy in the actual project, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've spoken to a few people who have had some, I think they were trying to make it more of a similar experience to what they would have in the US, and they were kind of fighting the process and maybe not trusting the relationships that the architect and the contractor had. And it was a pretty bad experience for them. And, it ended up costing them more. And I think sometimes they end up switching who they were working with. And they were not enjoying the experience nearly as much as I have been.
So how often do you come to Sambuca?
I come here right now every other month. So this is my 5th trip this year. So every 8 weeks I come back and check progress. But last year I only came one time. So I came in February. I was here over Valentine's Day weekend last year, and about 4 days later we started the project, and about 4 days after that we had to shut the project down until early May. So last year, one time, back on my normal schedule. My goal once the renovation is done is to come about 4 times a year for a month. But yeah, I'm very involved in the process, and I want to be, so I like to come more just to be able to see the work.
What is the best solution for someone who can't come as often?
Zoom and pictures. So that's what we did all of last year. And I've spoken to many people. Their contractors are just taking videos of the progress, and they're having conversations just by, you know, looking at the video and seeing what it looks like. I used the blueprints a lot. So they'd send me the blueprints of, you know, the changes they wanted to make and modifications, and then they'd send them to me. I'd print it. I'd take a pencil to it or a pen or whatever and draw over it. Scan it and send it back to them. And then once we got to the stage where there was implementation, they would take pictures and they would draw over the pictures, or I would draw over the pictures. So it's really surprisingly not as difficult as I thought it was going to be to have that communication. I have a little bit of a language barrier, but sometimes we have an easier time doing it through from a distance than we do when we're in person. Because of the resources you have when you have time and you're sitting there patiently writing back and forth to each other versus when you're standing together in the house and you want to get through the conversation. So sometimes I think we struggle more when we're here than, you know, when I'm getting a text at 5 a.m. and I can talk to them for an hour at you know, at my own pace. So
this project, for example, we've talked about the budget briefly. Do you think there was a way that you could have done it for less?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think at first I was thinking more of like really coming up with a number and sticking to it, which is where we came to the 100,000. But once I started to realize how slow it was going to go, you know, it was going to be spread out over such a long period of time. I just decided that I could increase the budget and really make it exactly what I wanted, because I wasn't going to have the pressure that I had to set $100,000 down and, you know, pay for it all at once. It was going to be spread out. And the other reason was, again, because of the bonuses. Once I found out that I was definitely going to be able to get those, it was kind of like, again, why not make it exactly what you want it to be? But yesterday's a great example. You know, we went and looked at the toilets, and I decided, oh, I'd like to get matte instead of the shiny finish on like the toilets and the sinks. And to do that, it was, you know, like €80 more per unit that I was buying. Mm-hmm. And when you're just looking at one little small thing, it doesn't seem like that much. And you're like, oh, I really want the matte finish. It's not that much more money. But when you take that times all of the things in the house and you're just doing these small upgrades, when I look at this in a spreadsheet full on, I'm sure I'm going to start to feel that. But you could keep it in budget. You absolutely could. There's, you know, there's definitely different levels of cost. So you could do a, you know,
how many square
renovation.
meters is your place? Like if you could,
it's 250. With this it would be 300. With the two terraces it would be 300. 600
per square meter.
Yep.
So that makes, I mean, they quoted me 700 per square meter a few years ago, kind of as an average. So you're doing pretty well.
Oh, great.
Even right now, where they're saying that the costs have increased because of, well, right now because of the eco bonus, there's been a lot of demand, and so raw materials have been in demand across the world. Those two factors right there have increased prices here, so quotes I think would go up. Sicily's always had lower quotes than North Italy.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, but it was a good example. So when we originally started talking about the budget for the stairs, for the terrace stairs, it was €2,500. And then a year later, when we were actually going in to get a quote from the blacksmith, the first one we went to, it was going to be like €5,700.
Let's take out your terrace for a minute. Take out the square meters of the terrace. Can you calculate again?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so that's
700. So right on the quote, on the dot, right? Yeah.
Good to know that she's hitting the quote that I've been publishing across the world. Meredith has big plans for Sambuca and actually has already started picking up other properties, and we'll share those in a future video. Thanks.